he's our geek, if you ask me. I mean, he's the one who eats, sleeps, dreams phones every day. He's liked by many of you, the bloggers out there. For any question, we say just reach out to him. So tell us, Anuj, what is all about? What can our consumers expect from the phone?
Right. So with Moto G, obviously it's a very dear series to us. But not just us, as Sudhin mentioned, right? There are 6 million Moto G users in India alone. So of course, there's a huge consumer database, consumer set that's out there. They also love the Moto G, and it's for different reasons. But instead of us telling you this, we actually did a survey. So this was a global survey that was done with about 12,000 consumers out there, asking what they want in the next Moto G. And of course, the question was not just about the Moto G series, but what does Moto G stand for essentially, which is getting a very premium experience for all. So what did come up is that they want a really good, high quality device. And this was quite interesting, where when it came down to Indians, 4 out of every 5 Indians insisted that the quality of their smartphone, right? So the phones that we use directly impacts the quality of life. Of course, they're hyper connected, they're always online, they're using it to kind of get their life forward, right? So they're using it for calling a cab in the morning, they're using it to connect to friends, they're using it to share a lot of their life's moments, and that's where a quality of a device, a quality of their smartphone is extremely important. And that essentially is what we had to kind of bring into the Moto G.
So what does the quality of a smartphone mean? This is what consumers are saying, that they are looking at a quality device. But how does that translate into, let's say, a smartphone context?
It's quite simple, actually. So it's not really too much of a rocket science. Again, based on the survey, what we got was essentially 3 things. Right? One, they wanted a really good, crystal clear display. So this is what you interact with most on your phone, and they wanted a really good experience there. Apart from that, what they wanted was a really great camera. Of course, in the Moto G series, we've already stood for that part, and we've delivered some excellent camera performance in the past. But this is something that they wanted. People, even Sudhin takes a lot of selfies, so that also becomes really important, where you keep sharing your life's moments all the time. And the third part, and which I think all of us would agree, is a phone that actually lasts the day. Right? So battery life is the third thing that's really important. So of course, what they want is they want a great camera, they want battery life that really lasts, and something that's really good in terms of the display as well. So as simple as that, get these 3 things right, and consumers tend to kind of love you for that.
So that's what the consumers are really asking. But I mean, are there really phones which offer all this? I mean, I've seen, well, I mean, I love taking selfies, but my batteries sometimes don't last. I love battery phones, but the display is not great, right? So there has always been a bit of a compromise that consumers have to say. This is what they want, right? They want a great battery, a great camera, a great display. But today, when you look around in the smartphone market, there is something or the other. There's always. That's why we say, I mean, why compromise, right? And from consumers are saying that, well, I wish my phone was there which could give me everything together. I don't need to compromise. So do we have answers to this, Anuj?
Well, I mean, that's what Moto G series has always stood for. Right? With the Moto G, basically you are not compromising anymore. So you basically uncompromise with the G5 Plus. And that's what the G5 Plus talks about, or G5 stands for, and what the Moto G franchise has been on forever, actually. That's what makes it so iconic, that you don't really have to compromise with the G series.
So why don't you share with our friends what this uncompromised phone is all about, the Moto G5 Plus. Over to you, Anuj, and I'll come back later.
Sure. Thank you, Sudhin. All right. So this one is quite easy, actually, right? So it's the Moto G5 Plus. pretty much the industry gold standard for devices in this price category. Consumers love them. Of course, we really care about this series. And yeah, let's just talk about the next generation. And Moto G series in India has done so well in the past that there's even more pressure on us every generation to kind of take it up a massive notch up. So what I'm going to do is, and there are a whole lot of things to talk about the G5 Plus, but in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I will try and capture the top 5 key features that I'd want you to take away from this presentation. Now, it's not just about these 5. There are a whole lot of things other than that, which you will be able to discover later. But let me start with probably the first one, which right away catches your eyes, the premium design, right? So now, the G5 Plus, of course, it retains the iconic structure of the G series. It's great to look at, it's great to hold, which is, I think, even more important. It's still got that same Moto G charm to it, but as you can see, it does not look anything like the previous Moto G series. Right? At 7.7 mm thin, this is the first G series from Moto, which is going to be completely metal. Right? So it's got a metal construction, and not just any metal. Of course, we can kind of cheap out on the metal, but this is using something that we call aluminium 6000. Right? Now, this is important because, of course, you've got different grades of aluminium, and that defines the durability as well as how good it looks and how good it feels. The aluminium 6000 as the base metal here provides a really good combination of a very durable device, yet a very good looking device. It's got that right amount of sheen on it. So it also kind of ends up feeling as good as it looks on the pictures. Along with that, what you would see in the front is the Moto design language, right? So it's all kind of fits in well. There's a new fingerprint sensor and a new fingerprint sensor design that you would notice. Even the speaker on top, it's a front-firing speaker, kind of just sits in with this entire curvy kind of design. And then, of course, you can't really miss that, but the camera at the back, right? So the camera, if you can see, the camera chamfer has been diamond cut, so it's precise, and it's, it can be kind of replicated on a volume scale, so every Moto G5 Plus is going to look fantastic at the back and have that same finish, not just, a few demo samples that will look better than the others. So that actually, makes it look really good. In the front, there's a Gorilla Glass 3 for protection, and while this is all metal, and while this is, obviously very complex to kind of manufacture, it still is water repellent. Right, so we've brought back that feature on the G5 Plus. And of course, at the back, you've got the famous Batwing logo. So overall, this device is quite interesting. And in the sea of sameness, today when you pick up a device in this particular price class, almost all devices look the same. But when you see a Moto G5 Plus, you will not mistake this for anything else. This looks distinct, right? And it looks premium. But let me talk a bit more about that camera. I mean, of course, you can't miss that camera bump, right? So talking about the cameras, Moto G4 Plus is probably still, or is going to be till today midnight, the best camera phone in this price class that you can buy, right? We had to up this, and we had to take it to the next level. So the G5 Plus has the most advanced camera in its class. What makes it really advanced is this is going to be the first with dual autofocus pixels in the sensor. What it does is it lets you lock onto a particular target really quick, and even if the lighting conditions aren't perfect, so if it's a cloudy day, if it's a gloomy, dark day, you will still get beautiful pictures out of it. And talking about dual autofocus pixels, now this is where the sensor on the G5 Plus actually has 10 times more pixels than the previous generation, which are used to focus. And hence, it helps focus really quickly, lock onto subjects really quickly. In fact, it's almost about 60% faster to focus than the previous generation, still best in the class, camera. So it does really well. Along with that, when you can focus well, that's one part. The G5 Plus also has what you can see is a f1.7 aperture, which basically means, in a nutshell, it takes about 25% more light than the previous G Plus. So it does quite a lot more on the low light part of it. So I'm not saying when it's completely dark, it's not an infrared camera, but when there's low light conditions, it does about 25% better than the previous generation Moto G. And I'm comparing this with the previous generation Moto G because it's still the best in class, right? So it just makes sense to kind of just step it up there. But instead of me telling you that it has a better low light camera, I thought we could kind of demo this. So what we could get is, this box here, and it's pretty much closed. Of course, there's some light leakage happening on the side, so it's a kind of a reconstruction of a room which will be lowly lit. And what we try and do is, if you can get the camera guy here to just peep into this and see how much he can get, and then I'll try and show it with the G5 Plus and see if that camera actually works better. So can we get the screen on, and let's get everyone to kind of see what he's seeing. And can we get this on the webcast as well, so people who are watching us on, all right, so you can actually see it's dark, right? It's not really lit in the middle, there's nothing, it's not as dark as what he